Cool. I think we are live. Yeah. Hi guys. So we are back for another episode of Bad Balla. We also got Pushkar, who is, our one of our good friends. Basically, is my college friend. So we thought we'll have some discussion around the next test match, which is going to start in another 30 hours or so. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
what do you guys?
yeah.
I mean, Suresh, maybe you can start. What do you feel about the Brisbane test?
No, yeah. I think the series is very well placed right now. One all. I mean, both. I think India won convincingly, and then Australia also won equally convincingly. And both of them feel that. I mean, India will be very happy that the pink ball is done. I mean, India always, I'm sure, would have felt it difficult at Adelaide with the pink ball, and I'm sure they're happy to get back to normal cricket. So I think India will be confident that okay, once we come back to normal cricket, we have an upper hand. Same way, I think Australia also is equally confident considering the trash test. So I think the series is placed very well. What do you think, Pushkar?
Yeah, no, I also think this test is going to, set the tone because Melbourne and Sydney have always been good grounds for India.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I think whoever, gets ahead after this test is going to be poised very well for the series. And yeah, as you rightly said, Sulesh, that currently, yeah, same. First test we won very convincingly. Second test they won very convincingly, and I think it's the batting that the both have to sort out. And yeah,
Hmm.
matlab, in a general overview, if I have to give, I think if we sort out our batting in this test, I think we'll be very, well poised in the series. Especially, matlab, hopefully we get a win. But yeah, if that happens, then I think Melbourne and Sydney have always been good for us as a team. Yeah.
No, I think fair point, Pushkar. I mean, Australia did their homework pretty well, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
the first three tests, they got them in Perth, then Adelaide pink ball test, and then finally in Brisbane. They're three strongholds, right? Because they know that, like Pushkar mentioned, no, in at Sydney and probably at Melbourne, it's not going to be easy for Australia to roll over India. And I
Hmm.
think, as an Indian fan, I think we are pretty well placed at this point of time. Although we have lost the last game, but we had set up the tone nicely by winning the first test. So I think getting into this game, uh, I think we definitely have our own. I mean, we gonna drill down on how India should approach this one. But at an overall level, I think India is not really badly placed. I think we are in the driver's seat.
What are your areas of concern? What do you think India is worrying about right now?
Batting, I think the first thing which comes to our mind, I think it's the batting is the form of our most of the batters, except maybe Rishabh Pant, Yashasvi Jaiswal to a certain extent, and Reddy. I think I'm not too sure if there are any bright spots at this point of time.
Yeah, I also think what went wrong in the second test, and historically what has been wrong with us is the complacency kicking in. Uh, Especially in
Yeah,
away series when we go and when we win the first game of the series, it always happens that we tend to get a little complacent, and also the team dynamics changing. We'll probably get into that in detail, but with the change of captaincy, change of hands. But yeah, I think that is something that happened because that reflected in the match, especially how Jaswal, even Pant got good starts in both the innings, but I think he could have converted it pretty brilliantly. I was always having hopes till he was not out. I also think Gill will play a very big role.
yeah.
I think he is set up for success in this test. He has gotten good starts in both innings in the last test match, and as the problem has always been with Gill is not converting good starts to bigger scores. I think if he gets, and I also have a bias towards Gill, but I think if he gets a good score, it's I think gonna be towards us.
Yeah,
No, I
no, I
think
agree.
fair
I
point.
think Gill is due for a big score, right? Yeah, I think he's definitely due for a big score. And I mean, fingers crossed. I think it's time Rohit and Kohli come to the picture. Kohli, I don't know, had a century, but I just have a feeling that Rohit has something to prove. I mean, it's a do or die series for him, at least in terms of a batsman. Captaincy is a
Yeah.
different question altogether, but he's not performed well as a batsman, averaging around 12, 13 in the last 10 test matches. So if there is any way to prove it's here, and the series is tied as a captain, he has to do it from the front. So I'm hoping for a Rohit innings. I mean, it may not be like a big 100, but at least like a quick 60, 70, which could set the tone for the match. I think that will be crucial for India. I mean, hopefully, I think he may open and some good innings from him as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. I think we have to ask you that. I mean, before that, where should ideally Rohit bat? Should he open along with say one of these guys? I think Jaiswal. Then in that case, KL will have to come somewhere in the middle order. Or do you see KL and Gill opening the? I mean, sorry, Jaiswal opening the innings, and then Rohit Sharma coming at 5 or 6.
Yeah, I remember last time we discussed this. I clearly said that I don't want Rohit to open. I want because KL has been playing so well. I mean, he's been playing the balls very early. He's been taking time, and I like the way KL has been opening it. But to be really frank, I don't know where Rohit can bat. I know KL can bat in the middle order. I think he can do his job there. But I can't understand where Rohit can bat. And I hope Rohit comes back to the order just for that reason and gives us that blazing starts, which he's used to do in the white ball cricket of late. And I hope he gives that in the red ball as well. But yeah, just because of the fact that I don't know where Rohit can bat, I think he should open.
Okay, while just one, I will differ with Sulesh a bit here. Uh, I think Rohit. I think he's one of the flag bearers of our opening pairs that we've
Hmm.
had historically. I just think when he went down the order in the last test, I was just hoping for those times when Rohit used to come at that number in the initial phase of his
Yeah,
test
yeah.
carrying, right before he started opening. Uh, uh, I still think that he should be at that number, and yeah, hopefully we'll see that magic. I think he's gonna stick at that number, and yeah, I just hope that we get those numbers from him that we used to see in the initial phase of his test career.
Yeah, I think fair point, Pushkar, because the thing is that I know it's a very tricky situation for
Yeah.
Rohit and for the entire Indian
Yeah.
batting lineup, because the problem with both the tests, even in the New Zealand series, is the starts which we were used to getting in the last one or a couple of years.
Mm.
That has been missing for the last 4 5 tests, I will say. Even in the last test match which we won at Perth, over there again we had our own struggles in the first innings. Then in the second inning, obviously we came
Yeah.
back better with the bat. But now I think with Rohit in this form, I think it's unlike a Kohli, again, it's more of a mental blockage. I mean, obviously there are certain technical aspects as well, but I am not really sure if Rohit has got that. I mean, it's not that easy to sort of overcome those things in middle of the series, right? So I think
Hmm.
it's more of a mental blocker, and I won't be surprised if he comes out all guns blazing just to sort of relieve that pressure from himself. Because if he's there looking to
Yeah.
survive, I think it's gonna be very hard for him, and it's true for
Yeah.
him as well as for Virat. I mean, he got 100 in the first Test match, but he was really aggressive from the ball one. I think that sort of helped him.
Hmm.
Again, in the last Test match, he was looking to survive. With the Scott Bolland bowling all those balls in those around that fourth and
Yeah.
fifth stump line. There was one ball which was bound to sort of take his edge, and I mean that was inevitable. So I think for both Rohit and Virat, I think intent is the key here, and they will have to sort of put the pressure on the opposition. I'm pretty sure that they will go with the same attack, assuming that Hazelwood might not be free. I mean, fit to come back in the
Hmm.
squad. So I think they will pretty much go with the same attack. So in that case, I think I really like the Pant's approach. He came down the track first ball against
Yeah.
Poland. I think he got out the next morning early in the first over, but again, that's typically the way Pant plays, right? And like Pushka mentioned, someone like a Gill would be like really critical. Batting at number
Yeah.
three, he's looking good. To be very fair, he's looking good. But again, like, I think we discussed this in the last live with Rituraj. He's someone who looks like he can get out at any point of time, right? Even after getting set, getting
Hmm.
those 50, 60, 70, he can get out at any point of time. So I think we India is definitely expecting a big score from Gill, without a doubt. And let's hope that Rohit and Kohli somehow manages to find a way to score some runs in the next one.
Yeah, I think
Correct.
Gill is currently in that typical Dinesh Karthik phase where you tend to get good starts, but it always feels like कभी out हो जाएगा ये मतलब कभी ऐसे you don't trust him fully 100% that he'll take on the innings and take us ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that's right.
Any concerns on the? I mean, bowling. I know. I don't think India would go with Harshit Rana. I'm not sure. I mean, Gambhir really likes him, but he was completely listless in the last match, right? I mean, and that crucial spell with to head, I think that released all the pressure for head, and he was very able to easily play all the other bowlers as well. And we can't afford that. I mean, see, we all know that we are over reliant on Bumrah, and anybody on the other side giving a loose spell, which will be difficult for us to overcome from that. So, do you think we'll have changes in the bowling lineup? I mean, are you envisaging that?
Yeah, I think expecting to see someone like an Akashdeep instead of Harshit Rana straight away. I don't think other than that. I mean, Bumrah is gonna be the spearhead. Siraj will be there. He balled well in
He
the
bowled
last
well.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you mentioned, Harshit Rana was completely off color. Even in the first game, he got a few wickets. He got that magic ball to Travis Head, but again, it was
Mm.
relatively expensive. And I'm not too sure. I don't want to be really hard on him because like it's his
Yeah.
second game or third game, right? But I think he's not ready yet, is what my understanding is. And I think I'll rather have someone like an Akashdeep because he's there. He'll pitch the ball further up. He'll make the batsman drive, especially on the Gaba wicket. Where it's a very bouncy kind of wicket. Uh, a lot of fast bowlers make that mistake of bowling back of the length, but I think you'll have to ball, fuller. Make the batsman drive and get those edges. So I think someone like an Akashdeep would be a handy choice over here. And maybe I don't know Ashwin. Maybe I would be tempted to go for a Jadeja over an Ashwin because the number of right-handers in the Australian lineup. Um, and Ashwin, I'm not too sure about his mental state at this point of time. You know, what do you think, Pushkar, about this?
Yeah, no, I think also with the bounce that Gaba offers, uh, and also I don't think it's a hidden fact, but Jadeja has always been a better batsman as
Yeah,
compared to Ashwin. He's a more
Yeah.
complete batter if I compare him with Ashwin. I also will like to go with Jaddu instead of Ashwin. Uh, uh, matlab, again, Akashdeep was always the right choice for me. I am really not sure why we went with Harshit Rana in the first two tests. As you rightly mentioned, if that magic delivery, and again, bringing a comparison here, but uh, typical Umesh Yadav phase mein Harshit Rana, he always tends to bowl one or two very magical deliveries that tend to get wickets. But in general, if I see his spells, his ball by ball analysis, I don't think he has been very impressive. And again, not to be hard on him, but I just generally think that Akashdeep is a much complete bowler as compared to him. So even I would like to see these two options: Ashwin Jadeja against Ashwin and Akashdeep against Rana.
how about
Yeah.
having a Washington Sundar? I know he played the first test. He did not have much impact with the ball because he hardly got a
Yeah.
chance to ball.
Hmm.
But
To
say
be to be
if he,
frank, yeah, I would go for Sundar. I mean, just for the record in Gaba, the fact that I mean, not as a bowler, but just simply as a contributor to the game as well. I mean, I think he's high on confidence in that pitch, and he was not bad in the first test, right? Not hardly
yeah,
utilized. So I wouldn't blame him too much for that. And probably with his height, maybe the bounce at Gaba will suit his bowling style as well. So I think they may look at Sundar as well. I mean, over Ashwin. Ashwin was pretty listless the first match. In the second match he played. So I would go for a Sundar over maybe a Jadeja since Jadeja is still untested here.
yeah, that makes sense actually. Do you see any other change in the batting lineup? I know a lot of our batters are not in form, but I don't see any hard backup. Do you see someone like a Dhruv Jurel or Sarfaraz coming into the mix in play? I mean, I'm not too sure who's gonna get dropped. Definitely not Kohli, not Rohit, and definitely not Gill. So I'm not too sure about it. So yeah, any changes do you foresee in the batting order? I mean, in the batting department.
No,
I
Pushkar, do you
don't.
want to take that?
Yeah, I don't think honestly anything will happen to the batting order. Uh, um, I think Sarfaraz, the teams have very clearly pointed out what his weaknesses are, and
Yeah.
he is clearly not ready against those. I don't know what is going behind the scenes, if he's ready now or not, but it has come out very clearly in the New Zealand series that what his weaknesses are, and after that good inning in the series, I think his performance was quite uh, I mean,
disappointing
it was
actually.
not it was not at par. Yeah, yeah.
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 I think a
So
lot of people will exploit the
yeah,
short pitch delivery ploy. I think which
yeah,
they did in the second innings, to be honest, against the likes of Ashwin as well.
yeah,
So that's where maybe someone like a Jadeja or even a Washington Sundar could be a better choice. Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the Australian side? Do you see any changes on at their end? Because see, there were very specific conditions which were there in Adelaide, like pink ball, Mitchell Stark coming to the picture. Their ballers were like really on top of their games. It was a tailor-made situation for them. I'm not too sure. I mean, Gaba is still a very happy hunting ground for Australia, but they will have their memories from 2021 as well, right? Where Pant sort of did all the magic. So, do you see any strategic change at their end?
No, no, I don't see any change. I think the team does well right now, and I think very high on confidence. And the
Yeah.
Australians would want to continue that 11. I mean, Cummins bowled well; he got a fifer. Marnus is among the runs again. Smith will have a point to prove. I think the Australians are very high on confidence, and the fact that it's a resounding win, not just a easy win. I mean, it's a resounding win, and few of the batsmen, Khawaja, for example, again has to prove himself. So I think the Australians won't make any changes, and all their batsmen or bowlers are very high in form, and I expect them to come and play a very, very hard game.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is for me. This is the most important test match in the series. I mean, if we
Hmm.
keep that one thing aside as well for a moment, then also if India is able to sort of do something in this one, take that lead to win, and then going into the Boxing Day match and just finally the Sydney match, I think it will be a huge confidence booster. On the other hand, if Australia manages to pip India in this one, I think they will psychologically be really ahead in the series, because it's pretty clear that South Africa's already almost gone through the
Yeah,
WTC
yeah,
final. It's gonna be
yeah.
either India or Australia.
India, Australia.
Australia has a good, I mean, has a difficult tour to Sri Lanka, right, where they have to play a couple of test matches. So this one is really critical for both the teams, right? Not only for India, for Australia as well. So I think it's gonna be the deciding factor for the WTC final. This one.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, before we end, I just want to put you guys in a spot and predictions time. Oh, Pushkar, what do you think? I mean, for the next match, who's going to win the next match?
I'll make three predictions, Sulesh.
Sure.
I think India is going to win it. Uh, just I think while Australians are very strong on the psychological factor or the psychological part of the game, where they've always been like that. But I think Shivam mentioned it, but it will always play on the back of their mind how they let us breach their fortress, 2 3 years back. And I think the pink ball test was tailor made for them. It
Yeah.
Adelaide, Boland, everything was tailor made for them. I think they are going to win it. I am rooting for a Gill century, and
Okay.
and I'll go actually bold with my predictions. I'm rooting for it in both the innings. So
Oh,
yeah,
whoa.
I'll go all guns blazing with this one, and I am rooting for Siraj to take a fifer. So these are the three predictions that I want to make for this test.
I think Pushkar really given it a thought. I just hope so, man. I just hope so. I think for me, Suresh, I think I'm expecting it to be a close contest, not like the first two test matches where it was like fairly one-sided, one for Australia, one for India. It is going to be a closely fought contest for sure. And like I am also sort of backing my bets on Shubman Gill in this one, because he's
Yeah.
looking good. He's definitely looking good. He's not got those runs yet, and I think last time he got a 91 over there, right? So this
Yeah.
bouncy kind of wicket, I think it will suit him, and it won't have that much of swing and seam like the way it was seeming in Adelaide. So I expect a Gill to sort of come out all guns blazing. दोनों में मारेगा, I'm not too sure, but at least I'll expect one century for him in this coming game, and I hope that India is gonna win this one. But a closely fought contest. What
Yeah,
what is
no,
your
I
what
echo.
is your view?
No, I echo both your sentiments. I mean, I think the heart says India. I mean, but it's going to be a close match. I'm not going to say what the brain says, but yeah, I think India will win. I like you said. I think Gill is due for a big score. I also want a Kohli 100. I mean, it's probably his last tour to Australia, and the fans there love him, not just the Indians. And I really want to see a good Kohli come back in the next series, and hopefully it's in the next test as well. And yeah, I think with Siraj with the whole crowd against him now, like Pushka mentioned, I think It's time for him to show that, you know what, I'm made of some different metal. So I think we'll get a good
Yeah,
Siraj effort as well.
And for God's sake,
yeah,
someone get that Travis head guy out of this picture. I mean, somehow we have to get his wicket early. I mean, he's been the
yeah.
thorn in the flesh for us for the last couple of years.
Yeah, even I
Yeah.
made that Siraj prediction because I remembered that test against England of those 60 minutes when the crowd was constantly sledging Siraj, and what he did is it's a historical test. We all know about that. So yeah, that is why I am rooting for him to get a fiver as well.
Hello, cool. I think I'll we'll gonna reconvene after 5 days. I don't know how many days. Uh, Going by the trend, it's not gonna last too long. Hopefully, it lasts long, like at least 4 days. But
Yeah.
I think we'll reconvene and see how
Do
our predictions went.
yeah. Do you have any comments in the chat right now, or
No, I think
do you see
we
anything?
don't have any comments, right? Yeah.
Cool, cool. Yeah. No, great. I mean, let's convene once the test is done, and fingers crossed for India win and
No,
Pushkar
I
resume.
think
And
we have a few
okay,
comments. So Vipul Mehta is saying, please reply to the live chat. I'm sorry, Vipul, we sort of missed that one. And he's saying hi, Pushkar. So yeah.
Yeah.
So Sangeeta is saying Indian in me wants India to win, but rational me knows it's difficult for India. Oh, I think that's a pretty practical way of putting it, right?
Yeah.
yeah. No, no. What,
We
what a
all are
situation,
expecting
right?
the
I
same,
mean,
you know.
yeah, and like we discussed recently. I mean, earlier on, like 10-20 years back, we wouldn't even think of a contest, and here we are now with 1-1 in Australia, playing against them and hoping for a series win. So happy to be in this place any day over what was to be earlier. Great.
Chalo, great
So
catching up with you.
let's
We'll
convey
see you
post
guys.
the test match then. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Bye.
Pushkar. Thank you, Shom.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. See you.